Good day, peoples. How's it going out there on the other side? Hope you're doing all right. Today, what are we up to? We're up to a little bit of tinkering. Got some tools, but we also got some raw materials here. A nice batch of aluminium plates, about 2 millimeter thick, I reckon. And today, we are going to make something for Atlas that she's been needing. A little bit, right? I think some of you might have been noticing what we were up to lately. See, Honda years ago in their wisdom made this nice little exposed engine underneath. Uh-oh. Ooh, we like to bash your engine. Oh, there's some bad hombres here. Bash plate, bash plate. The Atlas is lacking a little bit of protection underneath. And I'm gonna solve that with a bit of, yeah, what can we call this? A bit of bush mechanics. Give Atlas a little bit of a belly protection. What do you reckon, Bob? There's like people right now out there. No, Pedro, you have to stay on the highway. No, better. No, forget about it. Put Atlas in the garage, put a nice tarp over it, and hook it up to the maintenance charger. That is the best thing that you could do. But I don't think I'm going to do that. Let's go. Oh, you might be thinking, Pedro, that bash plate looks mighty fine, but don't be fooled. That is beautiful hardened plastic, but not hard enough. The original ones I had on my Transalp, you know, of course, Alp, that's in Argentina due to the Rona. They got ripped to shreds in Central Asia, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, and especially Mongolia too. So got absolutely destroyed. Now, of course, if I was a real rider, I would have been kitted out up to the gills in a Toric gear, but a humble adventurer. You know, it's simple but honest work. But for Alp, if you remember, a few years ago, we got one custom made by someone in the Netherlands after scouring the internet and finding in a dark corner a lonesome man who forges these bash plates with his own bare hands and welds them together meticulously with a nice, sleek design. And they have been fantastic for Alp. And then that man disappeared with no trace. They just weren't being made until recently I got a message a while back that the man in question has started producing them again. The great Pim W. I've never seen him in person, never seen a picture of him. I sometimes even doubt if the man exists, but somehow if you contact him, you end up with a very nice, capable bash plate. But I was just too late, and probably I can only get one in April. So, you know, this is what we got underneath stock, and we're gonna do something about it, because anything is better than nothing. And this ain't the first time, because after my stint in Australia, I made protection, this little fire hydrant sign that I stuck under the engine here with hose clamp. And for what it had to do, it worked. You see, here's the engine exposed. So I'm gonna do the same, but now I'm gonna protect more. I'm at least going to stack 2 and maybe 3. 2 of them should get us to 4 millimeters, which should be pretty good, you know, and then cover it up with the original one again. But it's just to avoid that direct contact. Hey, now a sheet of aluminium isn't that easy to come by unless you go to a really professional place and pre-order it and whatnot. So when I went looking around the small city from one place to another, I ended up at a window, I don't know what you call them, Kozijn, a window frame company, door frames, and they had some material outside already. And then when they got back from work, I approached them, and the guys just pulled this long sheet. It was exactly this wide, which is perfect. I don't have to cut anything. They pulled it from the big stack of old metal, and then they were kind enough to cut it into 3 pieces also. Of course, look, this isn't like 4, 5, 6 millimeter special kind of aluminum that's really hard, but it's just to avoid those direct impacts on the engine. Get a general idea. And then the bending point can be, I reckon, can start around here. Aw, doesn't really work. Measure twice, bend once. Sorry for making it a bit disgusting, folks. Yuck. I want it to bend closer to that edge. Right, then I have to back this up a little bit. Alright, definitely some back and forth been going on here, but I think I'm going to leave the original plate out. This was my original idea, you know, on the inside, stick the plastic back on, but the plastic will still wreck on the rock. So I figured this one can be bolted up here like the usual bash plate is, but it's not going to be wide enough for the exhaust. I overlooked that, so I'm thinking of extending it with another piece of plate. Then you get the double below at least. We have some rivets, we have a rivet tool, and still clamp it down. Let's start cutting something. Yeah, that's working. Now we're starting something. So as the sun's beginning to set, this is what I've got. The two pieces together, slotting into each other a bit. Rivet this together and finish up this project. We decided to go the harder route, so it takes a bit longer. Good morning. Spent over 2 hours in a medium-sized hardware store getting all the final things for this project, which I complicated, so I needed more stuff. It's funny, by the way, how if I would go to a shop or you know, especially the mall, your girlfriend or you guys out there with the wife, you know, and you get over it within like the first minute within a hardware store, you know, like a fish in the sea. I got paint and primer, all the paint's gonna go off, but then I figured, hey, we're gonna have base aluminium anyway, so I think this is going to be enough. Never know. Actual grinding blade, some heat tape or something. In Portuguese they call this inventar. You know, see what happens if I can use this. I got these rivets. They have these wider heads. I like that. Hopefully they will pop nicely. Washers, bolts, and some more bolts, because you know, I'll explain along the way. I've come to the conclusion that here is going to be the perfect spot to drill a hole. I need about a 16 millimeter hole. The drill bit is 10 millimeters, so I gotta go be doing the whole good old wiggly wiggle. We got wood. It's getting real, folks. People who like to put their adventure bikes under tarps hate this, but there is no better feeling than that. Oh, beautiful, yeah. It's going to be bare aluminium, man. Absolutely. Why didn't I even buy the paint? Let's push you through. Look at that. Nice. Nice. I've already got plans to over-engineer it, so the grommet leaves some more space in between or another plate. I'm probably going to fill this one up with another piece so it can extend up here, not let the debris in, and also just make it structurally more sound. See, now that it's up here, I can measure some crucial distances of the plates where I'm going to put a few bolts. Sure, I'll be doing most of the fastening with rivets, but as someone mentioned in the comments, gracias Luis from Uruguay, in regards to shearing of these rivets, when they can move around, the aluminum can cut the rivets, and I already know, look, this is not going to be the strongest thing in the world, but to mitigate that a little bit, have at least 4 or 6 of these bolts with rounded heads, so if the bash plate does get pushed in far enough that you don't have this bolt, this square piece hitting into the engine in the worst case scenario. All right, now we're going to get into some permanent stuff. Beautiful, nice and tight, love it. A lock nut, and isn't creation just a beautiful thing, especially when it starts coming together. Now I'm going to need another 4 centimeters up top, keep mud from falling in there, but also to reinforce this section. and then reinforce. It will make it 6 mil. Should be nice. Gotta bend it into shape. Yeah, this thing has evolved from the bush plate to the bush plate deluxe. All right, we got the whole setup drilled for all the bolts. And you know, I'm starting to think, how many rivets do I really need? And I'm liking less and less to have rivets right under the engine. Same project, another day. Look what we got here this morning. After yesterday's work, when we finished up, cleaned up all of the aluminum, nice and bare. You don't have to worry about bare aluminum, so forget about all that paint. Oh yeah, today the universe loves us today. We were looking for something. This is going to be the bracket to hold it up, right? But the U-shape was missing, and this is absolutely perfect. And look at this, look at this. Oh lordy, it lines up with the holes. It lines up. All I have to do is drill them out. It's going to be absolutely perfect. The bush plate to bush plate deluxe, and now to bush plate deluxe plus. Oh menina. Rivet, stick it in there. Should come a pop now. Hence pop rivets. Now that's how the brackets are going to be. Sweet, eh? Yeah, there we go. Bam, bam. Looper exhaust gun. Pretty hyped and stoked about this part of the project. It's I think the big one, once this is on, it's the home stretch evolved from a hose clamp project to a bracket project. And then you know it's gotten real. You reckon I can mark the middle? Can I trust my eyes? Take a leap of faith, my dude. Don't fail me now, universe. Oh, so good. Oh, look at this. Look at this sturdy bastard. Look at this. How do you like them apples? Oh, it's aligned nicely. It was professionally eyeballed and scratched in. Proof of concept. The main part is done. Now, to protect the frame from scratches because of the U-bolt, I'm going to cut my old inner tube. Because right next to the exhaust, it gets really hot here. I think it'll burn the rubber. Rubber melting point is 180 degrees. I don't know, actually, if this is going to work. This is apparently only up until 120 degrees. It's not going to be in direct contact, but you know how radiating that exhaust is, eh? We got some primer here. And we got some regular paint. Ooh, that smells good. Look at this beautiful bracket. Rounded edges, so less chance of damage. Let's get this on permanently. There's very little space between the frame and exhaust, so I need to cut down these bolts. I think I mentioned before I don't really like the outward bolts. I'd rather have them that way, but that would have put the bracket on the other side and thus closer to the engine, and it can freely move that way if something bad, really bad happens. On the exhaust side, I'm going to be bending the excess aluminum. All right, I reckon that's it. The bush plate deluxe plus platinum is done. Before I overtinker, you know, I keep touching things that I should stop touching on the bash plate, that is. And we definitely went beyond the scope of what I had envision. I had a general idea. Slight flex in there, mostly from up here, of course, but you should see this thing on there. The sturdiness. Hyped. So let's put it on there. This is the moment. This is the time. Look at this Atlas. From now on, you're gonna be protected against those bad rockaroos. And we've come a long way from post glams now, have we? It's really just make do with what we could find around town. That's it. We got ourselves a bash plate, but we need to proper test it. Let's go. Big one. Oh yeah, we're ready, all right. I would call that a successful maiden voyage of our custom bush plate. And let me show you something here. It's pretty cool. That there, right here, is what we call first blood. So there you go, a afternoon project that has gotten completely out of hand. But I think those few extra eyes we dotted will help with the sturdiness, and trust me, we are going to test it for real. So stay tuned. Also, I wanted to thank the people who've been supporting me generally and supporting me through Patreon, especially this last year through this really messed up time. Your support really helped to keep things going, even though we haven't been doing things that like we usually do. But still, thanks a lot for that. And if you got a project that you're tinkering away on, let us know about it in the comments, and keep your head cool and see it all the way through till the end. I'll see y'all guys in the next episode. Ciao. Well, that's working nice.